You're lying.
I'm not lying, dude. No, straight up. He had his phone. He had his phone here. He had his phone like set up on the treadmill. Okay, and he's staring at it, mouthing along to words, and he's just like, and I'm like, whoa, okay, good for you, man. You know, and I didn't care. I didn't care, but I noticed it, and it's pretty goofy. You know, it's pretty silly. I don't know why you would do that, but you go, man. You know,
That's what he was doing. Was he filming? All right, so no one has to buffer through the episode for the questions. We're going to do this in the beginning. Pretty simple. And then Cole is going to play the game, and you can play along if you haven't done so already. Let me explain it briefly, what I'm talking about. So essentially, 2 episodes ago, I asked, or actually, sorry, 2 weeks ago on the Instagram, I polled several simple questions. So the first one initially is, which one do you prefer, straight out of the oven or cooled cookies? On the Edge Instagram, I believe 45 people answered the question on every single one. So I did 6 questions. So 45, it kind of gives you a better idea of the percentages. And then I asked everyone in that episode to essentially go in the comment section, which is already out now at this point. If you're watching this episode, you can do it now. Go in the comment section and put the percentage of each one on how many people chose it, and whoever was the closest to the percentages would win a t-shirt. And I have no clue how many people have done the comment section because we're filming this super early. It'll all work out in the end though. So Cole's going to answer the questions now, and if you haven't answered the questions, you can play along as well right now. You're currently. So the first question is, which do you prefer cookie-wise, straight out of the oven or cooled? And it's not you answering, it's how many people percentage-wise answered straight out of the oven or cooled. So what do you got?
So my personal preference is right out of the oven. But I feel like a lot of people go for cooled because they want it like intact to be able to either dip it or just be able to actually pick it up. So I'm going to do cooled is 62%, which means warm straight out of the oven is 38%.
Straight out of the oven was 87%.
Oh, dang. Well, you know what? That makes me happy, actually.
And cooled was 13%.
Right,
and I may have
the correct answer. So.
I may have skewed that, and I can go to my archives here. I may have skewed that answer because I actually answered that one specifically because I felt like not enough people were answering it. Not that I cheated the system, but I answered that for myself. So let's see how many people actually put cooled out of there. I guess I could do the percentages based on my math, but I'm not going to do that either. If I can find it. If I can't find it in a timely manner here, I'll just skip to the next question because I don't know how to Instagram sometimes. That is for sure. Archive. There we go. Okay. Scroll. Load. All right. Question 1. Let's see here. Question 1, 8713. As far as there was 5 votes for cooled. I was one of them though.
That's it.
Actually, no, I didn't vote. I didn't vote. Okay. All right. Question number 2. And as far as who won, because we're filming this early, because we're a little bit messed up on the recording schedule, I'll announce it on the Instagram, and then I'll announce it also on the next podcast episode. So if you follow the Instagram, you'll know sooner than if you listen to the podcast. So make sure you follow the Edge Instagram description below. Question number 2, pizza. Do you prefer room temperature or cold? And I know this is a weird question. I had several people DM me, including Lauren. Why is warm? Lauren was like, I'm concerned why there's not a warm option. I was like, well, that's the point of the question. Do you room temperature or cold?
Cold sounds, you're a crazy person if you pick cold. Like, I know people like frozen pizza, just like straight out of the whatever. Like, that's a thing that people do. But it's got to be 85-15 for room temperature.
Holy cow, dude. That 86-14. Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah. 86-14.
That's what it should be.
Before I asked them on the Instagram, I was asking athletes or whatever in between sets or whatever we're doing, just kind of hanging out and asking these questions. And sometimes it would get interesting as far as the particulars. They would ask like follow-up questions before they answered. It's like, well, it depends on the pizza. Like, I don't like frozen pizza after you've cooked it, I don't want it cold. You have to reheat that, but it's okay if it's like delivery pizza that you'll eat it cold or room temperature. I
Yeah.
prefer room temperature. Cold's like straight out of the fridge is kind of weird.
Yeah, I agree.
But obviously, it would be incredibly skewed if I put warm on there. I feel like the majority of
Warm
people would pick
versus
warm.
cold is.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just no debate in that question for me. It's not even close.
Yeah, cold. It's the tricky part is, let's say you do take it out of the fridge and you're reheating it. Is if you're putting it in the microwave, how many seconds do you do for it? Because you don't want it too hot.
See, there's a great question. Microwave skills. Do you go every 30 seconds? Do you always go a minute?
Well, I think for a pizza, 30 seconds, I think is going to have a problem. Depends on your power of your microwave. I feel like it has to be like, sometimes I like to do random numbers, like I'll do 13 seconds. Or I'll hit the 30-second thing, the quick little 30-second thing, and just pop it off. Okay. Question number 3. Sandwiches. Do you prefer them toasted or not toasted?
I feel like most people prefer toasted. So I'm going to go like 60-40 toasted.
60-40. Pretty close. 69-31. So toasted 69 and not toasted 31.
That makes sense to me. I mean, toasted in general is just kind of better. You get a crunch compared to your toppings.
Yeah, well, it's like I'm not a big fan of Jimmy John's because you can't toast your sandwiches at Jimmy John's, can you? I don't know if you can.
I don't know. Like all of those sub chains, like Jimmy John's, Jersey Mike's, that's all I'm thinking of right now. But there's at least 4 more. Penn Station, they all kind of blend together to me. Like people have their preferences of which one they like and which one they go to. I actually don't care. Mainly because I don't go to any of them, but
yeah, very rarely anymore. My brother and I used to go to Penn Station a decent amount back in the day. We'd go get like a Philly cheesesteak and fries, but other than that, not really in my rotation of foods to go pick up.
Yeah, no, I don't get it. I don't
not
get
in the rotation.
The whole hype. I mean, unless you're a really big sub guy. But
question number 4: how do you cut your sandwiches? On a diagonal, like diagonal corners, or do you cut it in half like a rectangle?
Dude, rectangle is the most like first grade thing I've ever heard. Like your mom cutting that for you. And also, who did that? Dude, okay, it's got to be triangles and it's got to be like 75%.
It was even more than that. It was good. Triangles are on a diagonal at 84% to 16. So 84 to 16.
All right, I've only gotten like 1 right, maybe 2 if we're counting close, but
well, that one was definitely really close. But you've gotten. Well, I guess you messed up the cookie one. That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but on the diagonal and the rectangle shape, the triangle. We'll say triangle and rectangle, cutting on a diagonal. But I asked this, and the follow up question was: when you cut it on a triangle, do you bite the corner first or the middle?
Ooh, definitely the corner. You're a madman if you bite the middle.
That's exactly what I said. Because if you bite the middle, depending on the sandwich, you're just going to have it was 2 of my athletes, and hopefully they're listening to this. It was 2 of my athletes, and they both agreed that you bite the middle. And she's like, "That's the best bite." Yeah, that's what I said.
You're crazy. Okay, if I ever meet you someday, I will tell you that.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you who they are off mic.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Sounds great.
Yeah, you bite the corner, and then you can work your way to the middle without getting stuff all over your face. That's how you do it.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
That's like eating a pizza, going to the eating it backwards, like eating. That's how I almost think about it. Like who goes to the corner of the pizza, or you go instead of you eat the dough first. Like no one, you shouldn't. It's a crazy person.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
2 more to go. Question number 5: brownies, nuts or no nuts?
Ooh, okay. I feel like I don't really have nuts in a brownie very often, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the sample size isn't high enough for me to confidently choose nuts in brownies. And I feel like most people have this experience. So I'm going to go with no nuts and I'm gonna go with 73%.
82% no nuts and 18% nuts.
Yeah, I think it's just most brownies don't have nuts in them. You know.
Yeah. And then also, when doing the polls, looking at the demographic of people answering in the sense of age,
Okay.
like in reference to experience, would make
Yeah.
it easier. But I don't even know the age range on this thing is
All over the
moms,
place.
kid. Yeah, it's all over the place. I
Yeah.
couldn't even. It makes it much more difficult to kind of answer them because you don't know who you're exactly polling. And the most important question of all: how do you prefer a burger? Hamburger, no cheese, or cheeseburger? The correct answer with a cheese on your burger.
It's actually cheeseburger, and it should be 93%.
It's 94-6.
Oh,
Almost got it. That was
so
really
close.
good.
I was so close.
In your rant on the last
It was
episode about
98
this,
to 2%.
it should have been.
That's what it should have been.
Close enough. It's close enough.
It's
94
close
to 6. Let's go see who. Let's go roast the madman. I'm just kidding. I am going to go look, and if it's someone that I think would have a good laugh about it, I will call them out. That's so funny. I won't call them out. But hopefully they're listening. I know these two very well. I won't call them out. There's two of them.
Hamburger.
Get out of here. Crazy.
Dude.
Yeah, I know. Okay, well, those are the questions. Again, if you weren't involved in it this time, we'll do games like this once a month or so, just something fun, different. There's actually another one I already have set up we're going to be doing probably in like 2 to 3 weeks. I don't want to do this every single week, but every now and then we'll throw in some games that you can win a t-shirt. So whoever was the closest wins a t-shirt. And the best thing to do is to be involved with the Instagram to answer the polls on your own to get an insight beforehand of the episode. And then also obviously listening to the episodes and then being able to comment on the YouTube channel. So you have to really be a part of the podcast. Some real big fans have really get the most benefit out of games. Okay, speaking of games, Hogwarts Legacy. We're going to talk about it. I don't care. We're going to talk about it. It was just like when we talk about penguins or moist critical in the last episode. I was thinking about how this podcast has kind of evolved as we've done it week to week to week to week to week. And I think it boils down to the Adventure to the Edge podcast. Yeah, it's connected to the gym in the sense of training and that stuff. And we've done episodes on that. But I think you get the most out of it when it's someone talking passionately about stuff they enjoy. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to sometimes we'll talk about training and sometimes and a lot of times we probably won't. But I think it just resonates through the I think it just resonates through the episode or the podcast more, and it's more enjoyable for us to talk about things we enjoy, and it's going to have a wide range, Harry Potter, whatever it is. But I want to talk about Harry Potter, and I'm sure you want to as well. So we're
going to do it. Yeah.
Okay. At this point, as far as I'm in, I played for about an hour and a half last night. I'm still not nearly as many hours as I want to be into it. This weekend, I'll pick up on my hours. I'll pick up on my hours. I think at this point, initially, I was like, if you're a Harry Potter fan, you're 100% going to enjoy this game. At this point, I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter if you're a Harry Potter fan.
Yeah,
you're going to enjoy this game.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's just a fantastic game. Just to be a game. Like, you didn't have to be a God of War fan to play God of War, And I think it's kind of on that same level now, where it's just, it might not be God of War level, but it's just a video game fan. If you like video games, you should play this game.
Yeah. Well, it's one of my favorite parts about it, and it's so finite. Not even, it's just, it is one of my favorite parts. It's so finite. And we talked about it a little bit in the last episode when you basically just said the game it's magical. It is magical.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when it comes to a game, some of the finer points of the game really makes the bigger picture of it. And what I'm talking about is when your character, you're developing a character that has essentially gear. And that gear is like your hat, your glasses, your robe, your scarf, your gloves. And in the game, you pick up more and more gear that looks different. And as you pick up more and more gear, you want to wear that gear because it increases your stats. So your stats are going to be higher because of it in the sense of offense or defense or whatever it is. But sometimes you may not like the way it looks.
Mm-hmm.
In the aesthetic of a game, especially the way your character looks like, it's really annoying if you get like a goofy hat on, you've got a robe of this color, you got a scarf of this color. you can still keep those stats from that gear pickup, but change the appearance so that the whole time you're playing, you look the way you want to look. And that to me is kind of a magical part because I've never seen that part of a game, and it's in Harry
Yeah, no.
Potter.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either. One of the other finer details, this is a spoiler, so skip ahead like 30 seconds. It's not really, it happens pretty quick, but um, in the opening cutscene, when the dragon comes and like kills the guy's pretty irrelevant. So if you got that spoiler, sorry. He kills the guy. Did you notice the flying horses, the Thestrals, get revealed?
Yep.
Because they hit. Yeah, dude, I love that detail. I love that detail so much.
After that happened, I immediately texted my brother, and I was like, my jaw just kind of dropped because I immediately saw it. And when Lauren was playing, I was like, I want to watch her play this to see if she catches it. And I knew she would, and I want to see her response. And it was kind of, she was like, whoa. I was like, oh, this game is going to be right from the gate. I was like,
Yeah,
it's a strong start.
yeah. I thought it was super sick. Such a small little detail that kind of makes the difference, you know?
Yeah. And some of the mechanics. So you'll get a laugh out of this, and this isn't really a spoiler of the story whatsoever. It's just the gameplay, and this actually might help you out if you're going to play it. When you get, I'd say I'm probably about 6 to 8 hours in. I'm not that far, but all of my gear got full. So gear slots in the sense of you can hold on to 20 items, your hats, your gloves, whatever your apparel. And right now I can only hold 20. And I went to a chest to open it, and it said you need to do Merlin's challenges or sell or dispose of some of your gear. And I was like, it's fine, whatever, no big deal. I'm just going to do this mission real quick. I'm right here. I'm already going that way. And I ended up doing the Forbidden Forest mission, right?
Yeah.
And as I'm going through it, not that I got locked into the mission, but I'd gotten so deep that I couldn't like flu powder out. And I keep going. There's so many chests in that location that had gears that I needed to pick up. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So I had to complete the entire mission. And then I finally went to Hogsmeade, sold some stuff, and now I'm doing the Merlin missions because I need to increase my gear. So when you can, do those Merlin missions so you have enough gear slots.
Yeah, I just trashed some stuff when I was in front of a chest. Like if I knew I wasn't going to use it and it was weaker than my other stuff, I just like trashed it.
Yeah, I'm greedy. I wanted to make sure I got all the galleons for the stuff I picked up.
Yeah, I thought about that too, but I don't know. I was just lazy and wanted to get the gear right away. So good on you for going back
Yeah.
and selling it. And
I'll go back to the Forbidden Forest and find that some of those battles with the spiders was kind of challenging, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm coming off God of War, and in God of War, circle is dodge. And in this game, you need to dodge, but you also very much need to hold triangle or hit triangle to shield. And I kept dodging, and I finally got the combat down, I think, pretty well.
Yeah, it's weird that the basic cast is right trigger because I keep wanting to hit X to attack.
Yeah.
Or I guess whatever your weird PS5 thing is.
Oh yeah, X. So you're
square?
A. No, it's X. X is bottom. Yeah.
No.
X.
I'm not talking about the bottom. I'm talking about the left.
Oh, it's square.
Square. Yeah. Square is normally attack in most games. Square X. So I've been used to just spamming that, and then it does nothing, and then I just sit there and get destroyed.
Yeah, figuring out the mechanics of a game in the beginning. It's just that it is a mind connection. You kind of have to play it consistently to really get it down. And doing some combos. My favorite combo is Leviosa, and then you Accio, and then Incendio, and then Expelliarmus. It's just like boom, 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 boom. Because you pull them closer, that Incendio just has a bigger hit. That's my wombo.
I like that one. Have you done the duels, whatever?
In the underground
castle, yeah.
I've done the first two. I'm going to do the third one this weekend, obviously.
When you do the practice dummy, he shows you some combos that are kind of crazy.
Yeah,
and it's pretty similar to that. So,
yeah, I just got some new stuff. That's kind of a spoiler on some of the new stuff, but I just got some new stuff last night, so I won't spoil it. But no spoilers, just especially the story or some of the stuff you get, just how good the game is if you have the opportunity to play it. Do it. It's fun. It's going to take
This
up
is
a lot
kind
of
of
your time,
random.
though.
This is kind of random. Is this gonna like go into their left ear if I do this, and then into their right ear if I do this?
It's a great question. I have no clue.
Tell us down below. Sorry, I'm on one this morning. Like low energy but high energy, but low energy but high energy. So.
I know what you mean. Well, this is the day that it's been raining for like 30 hours. And
dude, it started at what, like 2 a.m. and just isn't going to stop today.
Yeah.
Look at us talking about the weather.
Well, hold on. I have something funny about
Okay.
that. Hold on.
All right.
So Kylo doesn't like to use the bathroom, whatever. And then so I'm running behind. I'm texting Cole. I was like, Kylo's being a turd. I finally got him to use the bathroom, and then I'm coming back in. And I've been super productive this morning. I already went to the gym, and it's kind of early. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put a little thing. I'm gonna do a little espresso, and it spilled everywhere because I used a cup that I don't typically use that has a bigger bottom. And
that's so great. Good.
No, it's not good. And I was in the office getting ready to load up the computer, and then I hear just, and I was like, no. And then I take a picture of it and send it to Cole, and he's like, well, that's not good. But guess what? I cleaned it up, and I will not be defeated. I made another one. Can't be defeated. Got to keep going. More espresso.
Yeah. Isn't that the story of life? You just get knocked back down by your espresso, and then you got to pick yourself back up.
It was like one of those messes that it just kept getting bigger and bigger. So like the cabinet door on the top, it had it, and then it had leaked down in. Like I'm gonna have to go back out there and really delve into it even harder. But I got the general gist of it up. Freaking espresso. But back to the weather.
Back to the weather.
We've talked about the running joke before in the sense of how I think it's the cheesiest, most ridiculous thing to talk about the weather. And there's a lady at the gym. Incredibly nice lady. She's always super, super talkative. She always tries to engage in conversation. And I'm trying to work out. Like I really appreciate it, but it's always like I'm always like, hey, I was doing like that's the gist of what I want to do. And I walk in, I'm scraping my feet off because it's raining like crazy. I've got my hood up, and she goes, "It's hard to stay dry out there, isn't it?" And I was like, "Oh, you didn't just say
there
that."
It is.
There it is.
There it is.
It's hard to stay dry out there, isn't it? And I'm like,
I've never heard that one though. That's a new one for me.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, man. I just like sometimes I start to say something about the weather and then I stop myself because no one cares. You're just filling the space.
Yeah.
No one cares. No one cares.
I guess it's just like niceties. I don't know. How do you navigate around it?
Like want to communicate with somebody, and that's the easiest thing to do. It's the easiest thing to talk about. Oh, it's 40 degrees warmer today. Oh, let's talk about that. Okay. Oh, it's ice. Like there's ice outside. Let's talk about that. It's snowing. Wow, it never snows in Kentucky. It snowed like 10 times this year already. So I don't know. It's just the need to fill the void of you don't have anything to say to that person. That's fine. Don't say anything.
I actually have something. I'm gonna start Googling this real quick, and I want to pull this up on the screen. I saw a video. Let's see here. This is going back to video games. Sorry, but this just popped in my head. If you think about the controllers, of Nintendo. And there was a guy, he did a video. I'm not going to pull up the full video. I'm probably not going to be able to pull up the images either too. Let's see here. Nintendo. He's talking about the Nintendo controllers, right? So if you think about the first NES controller, how simple it was.
Yeah.
I can pull this up. I got this here. Boom. I got to remember how to screen share here. Share. Boom, boom. Which tab is it? This tab. So the viewers. Can you see that tab?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. If you're on the YouTube channel, obviously you'll see this. If not, I'll kind of explain in best detail. So if you think about the NES controller, so the one that's right here, the old NES controller, how simple it was. It was just a rectangle,
box.
Had a little box, 2 buttons. And then progressively as it goes up, it changes a little bit. So you've got the one right here, what is this? Not the Super Nintendo, I believe.
Yep.
And the controller has a little bit more buttons, has a little more of a circular feel, has a better fit in your hand concept. It's like, oh, that's a pretty good controller as well. And then after that, you go into, I guess the next thing was
64, right?
64. And then the chaotic change, just like so Cole, I guess it was several weeks ago, we wanted to play, he wanted to try out Smash Bros. So I brought it out, and Have you ever held a Nintendo 64 controller before?
I mean, I've seen one in person. I haven't ever used it in like the actual like playing one. So
Yeah.
technically, no. That was kind of my first time using it.
You had the perfect reaction. It's like, how do you hold this? Because it's got the three like prongs. It's such a huge
Dude,
change from the
do you
initial
want to
one.
know
Like,
the only reason I sort of know how to hold it? It's because of there's one scene in Sopranos, which I'm on like season 2. I've kind of
oh,
fallen
you've
behind.
cranked through.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
that's
what well I was cranking through and then I like stopped. Anyways, I saw his kid holding it, one on the right side, one in the middle, using the joystick or whatever.
yep.
And so I went, okay, I guess that's how you hold it, unless you need the D-pad on the outside, and then you just switch back and forth. Hey, that's so not intuitive. Why'd you do that,
Yeah.
Nintendo? And it's like
It doesn't.
it's one of the most iconic systems in consoles ever, and it has one of the worst controllers ever.
It doesn't really make any sense. It doesn't. I don't know
No,
what the design process was. And then you go from the
that
N64,
to
which
what,
has
GameCube.
now you're at GameCube, and then again, if
It's
you can see
just
this on
like
YouTube, I'm showing it. It's insane. The buttons. It doesn't make. I don't know which one makes less sense. Do you think it's the N64 controller makes less sense, or the GameCube controller?
well, they fixed the left hand at least, so you can reach the D-pad and the toggle or whatever it's
Have
called
you
at the
have you
same
have
time.
you have you played with a? Have you used
Yeah,
a
I
GameCube?
have. Yeah.
So
It's just been a while, so I forget all the buttons on there.
so this one will be a good representation. So the main analog is the top left one here,
Analog.
right?
Yeah, that's what I'm.
And then you have your directional buttons here, and then all the middle buttons here, and then you got like all of this. Just it's really weirdly mapped out. You don't use the, I guess it's the C button a ton. Now there's also at the top here, there's another trigger, like it's on like the back side of it at the top that's smaller. It's so crazy. I think one of the main reasons that the N64 wanted the controller to be that way is because on the back middle, it has that Z button that was
Yeah.
pretty accessible to be able to, because it's a pretty important button to have there. But, and then after that, GameCube, you go to the Wii, which is just a stick again.
Was it really GameCube to Wii?
I don't think it
I
actually
think.
was. Now that you say that, I think it may have been these controllers.
Well, it was DS. They did a bunch of portable stuff. They did Game Boy and then DS and then DSi and then Wii. So I think Wii might be the next console that came out.
Maybe there may have been something in between there, but yeah, this is actually kind of cool. You can use your GameCube controller on your Switch. So yeah, so you have GameCube, and then relatively after that, whether I'm perfect on it or not, is the Wii, which is now your motion sense stick, and then
No, dude, you're right. It's GameCube, then Wii,
okay,
and then
and
Wii
then
U.
Wii U, and then the
So
Switch,
weird.
which the Switch is also the Switch's controllers. I like the style of it. I don't know how like your opinion on the style of it. Like to be able to disconnect them and use them, I think it is nice, especially if you're
I
playing
think
with
it's
other people.
yeah, I think it's definitely convenient. I think they made it they made it in a way to where the Switch can be super super portable, and that's why they're so flat. Because I think they could have added a little more ergonomic to the removable whatever, but I think they wanted it to be flat so that it was super portable. So
Yeah,
I think for the design of what it is and for the functionality of just like being able to take them off and put them on, I think they're kind of perfect. But
yeah,
they're not the best. Oh,
that's me. It's okay.
they're not the best when it's just like the full controller and you plug them into your controller, and because I'd rather just have like an Xbox or a PlayStation type controller,
Which you can
which
buy, but
you could buy those, but you know that
yeah,
give and take is definitely a hard one to find when you're trying to do like a portable um,
all
console
in
like
one
that.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I
they
guess what you
tried to
mean.
do that with the PSP, I think. Not the removable controls, but just like being able to plug it in and then it's on your PlayStation, right?
Yeah, we had my brother and I had PSP. We never really I don't know if you can or we never tried to plug it into the TV. We usually just kind of played it. But there was a couple of fun games on there, and I enjoyed the PSP, but I don't think it really lived up to. I don't know. Maybe we just didn't buy enough games on it.
I don't know. I also had a PSP, but I never had a PlayStation either.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. All right, we'll jump off the video games here, and I'm gonna go back to what I was talking about earlier, actually, because going back to just essentially talking about kind of what we want to talk about. There's two things that I want to talk about now. One of my athletes very nicely asked me if I could do an episode on how to get ready for spring break. Okay, and I was like, okay, I'll do it. And then I thought about it, and I was like, I don't want to. I don't want to do it. I was like, I don't want to do it, and I feel bad. So if there's enough comments on this video and I get enough, or even just message me on Instagram, and you really want me to do a podcast episode on how to get ready for spring break.
Explain that to the people getting ready for spring break. What she means.
It means physically looking better. We'll just put it that way. And that's why I don't want to talk about it, because it's like this slippery, not a slippery slope, but it's the answer that you're probably going to get, or most of you are going to probably get, is the answer that is the answer, and just modifying the details a little bit. It's just, it's just like, I don't want to do it. It's exhausting. I've done it so many times.
Yeah.
You know,
I get that one.
Maybe I'll do it, but I have to have enough people that are like,
that want this type of episode.
If it's going to hit, I'll do it for you, but I don't want to do it.
So that means, person that asked, you have to get other people to ask, and other people to comment, and other people to message about it.
Yeah, and do it soon, because spring break's coming up fast, and the earlier you start, the better off you're going to be. And it is coming up fast, so do it quickly. I'll let her know that as well. We had to have enough people to have it pushed, because I don't want to do it. And the second thing that I want to talk about is Cole is officially signed up and going to the gym. Crunch Fitness, baby.
It only took me a month and a half to start my New Year's resolution. Didn't we talk about that on the podcast? What we were going to do?
Yeah, for New Year's, or just like...
Yes. Maybe we didn't. Maybe we did.
I don't know.
I have started reading. I am reading a book right now. It's called The Inner Game of Music. So if you're a music person, but even if you're not a music person, you should check out The Inner Game of Tennis, because that is a book about... Have you heard of this book? Do you know what it's about?
Mm-mm.
It's basically about performance anxiety, and how these principles apply to pretty much any type of thing that you're doing, whether it's a sport, whether it's like business type thing, or presentation, or music, or anything performance related. It's the principles in the book are there to help you perform better. And it talks about an inner game versus an outer game. The outer game is your actual ability and you actually playing the game. And the inner game is your like mental space while you're playing the game. And you need to develop your inner game as well as your outer game in order to play at your highest ability. If that makes sense.
It does make sense. Yeah,
it's a really good book. And honestly, it would be great for any athlete that's having just any sort of like mental block, or not even a mental block, but just like if you're in your head a lot, it's a great way to kind of train yourself to get out of your head.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure that psychological component kind of resonates to most stuff, but just more specifically when it comes to music, it's there's always little nuances or specifics that...
It's a big one in music, especially like when you're in the middle of performing something and you're constantly talking to yourself. And what you want to try and do is quiet that, because every single note that you're playing, every single passage that you're playing, you're making small little comments of like, I didn't like that note. Ooh, this hard part's coming up. Better hit this. Oh, I got it. Great. Oh, and then there's another, and so you're constantly talking to yourself, and the whole book is trying to get you to stop talking to yourself.
Nice. Yeah.
So, I have started a book.
There you go. Nice. Started a book and started the gym. Cole and I
started the gym.
We'll be going to the gym probably
You know
a
what?
little
Let's
bit.
film a video going to the gym together. There's so many gym videos out there, so let's make another one, right?
Let's do another one. Let's be the obnoxious people in the gym. We'll get some road mics. Not sorry, don't say not everyone's obnoxious when they record in the gym, but we will be obnoxious because it's funnier. I'm just kidding. But you can have we can hit a road mic and we'll do a whole thing. They might actually, I don't know. We'll definitely be.
I don't think
on the
they
gym
would
a little bit.
care too much. I mean,
No,
they have people filming constantly in there.
yeah, we're not gonna actually do that. I had the idea of we should. I would never do it. Just we'll see who can get the most fit in 3 months. In the sense of I've got to diet down and weight. You've just got to start working out. Like that would be. But I'm not.
Honestly, I'd be in for it.
Yeah, but here's my catch on it. I don't want to. I personally, just my opinion. I don't feel like it's a good idea or my brand that I want to put shirtless pictures of myself up. You know what I mean? Like that's
Well,
just
it's not about
that's not.
no. It's not about shirtless pictures. I think it should be like most either like percent of weight like that you can lift or actually weight competition. And maybe let's make it like 5 months. You know what I mean?
So okay, we can talk about this after. Maybe
talk
we
about
could do
this.
something. We could scale. So it would have to be scaled appropriately.
Yeah, because you're at a higher level than me. But if I actually start working out, my percentage of weight is going to go up like way more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So it'd be like it would have to be scaled. So like body weight, like how much you weigh,
Yeah.
all that. We can figure it out. It could be something where because I don't want to do the shirtless picture.
No, it's not like the physique thing. Guess what? I'm going to look like this forever.
No,
Okay.
you're not. I'm just kidding. You're gonna get fat.
But yeah, I think we can figure out some sort of contest.
Okay, that's not a bad idea.
Or just like an all around, like legs, arms, endurance, like cardio. Just like we could do everything.
that sounds exhausting. I'm just
Yeah, it does. It does.
But here's
though.
accountability, buddies, and then when you put it out into a podcast or to other people, and I don't know, we'll figure it out. We will talk about this. I thought about this. I was thinking about it this morning, and I was like, I don't know, we could do something, but I don't want to do shirtless.
No. I don't want to do that either. So we're on the same page.
We do what we want. We've already said that. That's going to be the caption of this podcast. We do what we want.
Yep. But no, the gym was cool. Me and Aaron went together. I didn't do anything crazy. Just I did some machines. I didn't want to get onto a rack too soon.
Yeah, it's what you should do. Just
You know?
whatever it's always, and this would be just when you're entering a gym for the first time or in a long time since you've been into it, the first thing to do is do what you're comfortable with.
Yeah. That makes
That's it.
sense.
You got to get you. I mean, when I signed up, so Cole and I are going to the same gym. It's Crunch Fitness. When I initially signed up for it, even though I've been in a gym setting for the longest time, it'd been like 2 years or so because of COVID that I had been in a gym setting, and it was foreign to me too. It just the people, the atmosphere. You kind of have to just get the groove. It takes a while for the gym to feel like it's your space, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. But this is not a knock on Crunch or anybody, but like gyms are expensive, dude. Like I know Crunch is like the affordable option and stuff, but they also have an annual fee that's on top of it, and then they have annual commitment if you want to do all year. But if you only want to do some of the year, it's like a little bit more. I don't know, man. And then Crunch is like the affordable option, Crunch and Planet Fitness, and then other gyms, it's like crazy per month. I don't know. Maybe that's just me as an outsider, not really knowing like the vibe of it, but it just seems like a lot.
Yeah, I mean it's a great thing to bring up. So if you break it down in a business sense, so let's say I was going to open up a gym that's the same exact size as Crunch. The amount of equipment, the amount of cleaning they have to do, the amount of AC they have to pump into that size of the building, and the location of the building and the amount of money it costs us to lease that space.
Yeah.
What you're paying is nowhere near what you should actually be paying, in my opinion. It actually, they're so cheap, it's kind of crazy because you think per square foot, the AC they're pumping in there, all the stuff they need to do, the amount of money they spend on equipment to put in there, you actually should probably be paying double to triple what you're paying. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's from a business sense.
Well, that's why I brought it up, because I knew like your perspective on it is going to be a little bit more informed than mine. Um, and I guess the other thing too is it's 24 hours, so that's
Yeah,
you know
it's
to be staffed
it's
24 hours is pretty unbelievable.
yeah, it's crazy. It's just, I mean, it's expensive in the sense, and they do catch you. You know, they say it's $10 to $15 a month or whatever, and then they catch you with the sign up fee, or then the
Yep.
annual thing, like all of that. They do throw that in there. It
Yeah,
is
we were
there.
fortunate enough to get one of those codes or whatever and be able to sign up for 1 penny, which was pretty nice.
Yeah, if you're looking to sign up for Crunch, if you and you've paid an enrollment fee, you just missed a window. There's so
Yeah.
many. I mean, I don't know how many times I've seen something pop up of enrollment fee, whatever. But yeah, it should be more expensive. I mean, you think about the amount of equipment that's in there. I
It's
mean,
a
there's
lot.
over so much.
It was a significant amount. I mean, last time I had been in a gym that someone invited me to, I mean, it had maybe half of their equipment. So when I walked in and saw the amount of treadmills, the amount of uh, ellipticals, the amount of like machines, the amount of racks that they have, I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at just like a Stairmaster, we'll say the average cost of a Stairmaster is like $5,000. They have at least 8. So right there's 40 G's. They have 40 G's in Stairmasters, and then you go into treadmills and everything else. I mean, there's
Oh,
probably
they
a
had
quarter.
20 to 30 treadmills at
Yeah,
least.
I mean, you've got $250,000 upfront costs just to start that place off, and
Yeah.
to get that back, it's I don't know. It's a daunting. I don't know how they do return. And I think Crunch was started early on. And the thing that's crazy to me about Crunch, and this is not me roasting it, but just an observation, is it reminds me of like the Globo Gym from Dodgeball and the feel of it,
No. Oh,
where where
that's
there's
pretty funny.
the TVs, just the feel of it. And I look at the branding of it as well. It's called Crunch, which is an exercise, right? And
Yeah.
then it's like a fist, like punching. It's like, as far as the logo, it's pretty bad. I'm sorry, it just is. And the fact that they've been so successful is very impressive. And you can look at Planet Fitness in the same way. It's just someone that's in the gym industry and looks at gyms and branding and logos and other components like that. It's like Planet Fitness is purple and yellow. Maybe it's because it's so different. And then Crunch is orange, like these like bright, crazy, vibrant colors and feel. Maybe that's the reason it's so successful. But it's just like, how did this happen? We're in a Globo Gym. We're with Ben Stiller now.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Does Planet Fitness offer like classes and stuff like Crunch does?
No, it's so funny you brought that up. I have to say this. Oh my, thank
I'm
you.
excited.
You're asking so many good questions. It's just clicking stuff in my
Okay,
brain today.
great.
I
Fantastic.
don't think I don't think Planet Fitness does classes, but I know Crunch does. Like that, you pay
Mhm.
just a little bit extra
If
money.
well, I think if you're on the higher plan, like if there's a base plan and then there's 2 higher tiers, you can actually go to the classes. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you could just pay individually for the class.
I don't know. Yeah. So either way, I don't want this to sound mean, but I'm going to say it anyways.
Just go ahead and say it. It's fine.
While the classes are going on, there's a class, and there's nothing taken away from the people that are doing the workouts whatsoever. They're doing something good for themselves. They're doing something different, and they're hopefully they're enjoying it. A lot of the classes are circuit training. So there's like one station where they're doing this, another station doing this, they're pushing a sled here, doing that, and then they rotate on like cue. So they'll be in
Okay.
that station for 30 seconds
It's
and then
like a
like they
hit
go rotate.
training thing.
Kind of perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with doing that style of training. But when it's in that setting and everyone else is like outside working out and doing their own thing, it looks like a simulation going on at the same time of like these are just avatars going through the motions. And if you're going to see it now when you're working out, you're going to be
Yeah.
on the treadmill, you're working out, and you're going to see a class going on. You're like, oh, it is the Sims over there. It looks like someone just threw something into the Matrix, and that's what's happening in this gym. That's how I feel about it. But good for them for doing it. But that's how it makes me feel when I see it.
That's pretty funny. What do you think? What do you think people think of your classes then?
It's a great question. Maybe the same thing. I don't know, but
A little bit of self-reflection. Good for you.
it is devil's advocate. I think it's a little bit, it's different because there's not as much repetitive motion rotation kind of thing. You'll see what I'm talking about.
New stuff.
It's
Or is it so they have like 4 stations and they do it for 30 minutes? Is that kind of
30 seconds?
Well, I mean like total class.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And they just do it 4 times through. Is that kind of going? Okay. Then yeah, that's pretty. I wouldn't pay for that.
It's just going through the motions. I don't know. And it's exactly the same. Maybe my classes look exactly the same, but I think it's when other people are working out and that's going on, when you see them, it just looks like a sim simulation and the avatars are working out. That's how it makes me feel. I don't know. Maybe bad. Maybe I should retract that, but that's how I feel. It's just an opinion. Not that you shouldn't do the workouts. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So I think that's a pretty valid opinion.
Thanks,
seems like a goofy thing to witness and experience.
Well, you're going to get to see it, especially if you go on the weekends. Especially if you go on the weekends.
All right, so when are we going in together?
Well, I think so. I've got to work extra on Saturday, so I will not be working out on Saturday. But it might be Sunday. We could all kind of figure out a time. All 4 of us kind of go thing.
Sounds good.
Do a workout.
I think we should do. And I don't know the feasibility of this, but what if he filmed a podcast in the gym
at Crunch?
Yeah, just on the treadmill for like 45 minutes.
Just like the 45. I don't think that we're just gonna hold microphones while on the treadmill.
Yeah,
I don't know if they'd say anything.
Dude, I saw a guy. Okay, I saw a guy. I wasn't gonna say anything, but like I saw a guy doing like TikTok dances on a treadmill, just like for like 20 minutes Crunch? Straight. Yeah, no. Straight, 20 minutes straight.
Like yesterday?
Yeah.
You're lying.
I'm not lying, dude. No, straight up. He had his phone. He had his phone here. He had his phone like set up on the treadmill. Okay, and he's staring at it, mouthing along the words, and he's just like, and I'm like, whoa, okay, good for you, man. And I didn't care. But I noticed it, and it's pretty goofy. It's pretty silly. I don't know why you would do that, but you go, man.
That's what he was doing. Was he filming himself or just watching
I don't know. Because I was watching it from, he was facing me basically, and he was just like doing them, and I don't know if he was actually filming them or not.
I don't know.
I would assume he was, but so all of that to say is we could definitely do a podcast.
We could figure out some more things. We're going to figure out some more concepts to do. I don't know if we could do a podcast, but we can definitely figure out some more concepts. We got so many avenues we can go down with the new gym setup. What is something? So this is when we go on Sunday. If we go on Sunday, Sunday would be a perfect time to do it. We'll have to figure out. It'd be kind of weird if all 4 of us are rotating around, so we'll have to kind of probably separate a little bit. It's just like being in a pack.
Lauren can take Aaron, and you'll take me.
We'll have to figure out what's a movement or something that you potentially would want to work on or know more about.
So I want to learn, I want to understand proper squatting technique, and I'd rather do that with somebody that knows it and understands it instead of figuring it out myself.
Yeah, no, that was one that I was, if you didn't have an answer, I was going to give you a suggestion.
Yeah,
because
that and maybe bench too, just making sure that I'm doing the right thing and I'm performing it correctly.
Yeah, we'll go into both of those actually really quickly. So this is turning into a fitness podcast now. Look at that! But I actually want to talk about it. Hey! I like these too. So bench and squat. So let's talk about squat first. A squat, especially if you're talking like a back squat, which I wouldn't start you with a back squat. You would start with more of a body. You would just be a body weight squat to start. So you're not even going to use weights the first time we do it.
That sounds good.
Learning the foot position, so how wide your feet should be.
Yeah.
Also learning some stuff that you want to watch out for as you start adding weight that you don't want to do. That's a really important thing. It seems weird to say that one of the important things is to figure out what you don't want to do initially, but being aware of what you're doing. So using a mirror is a good one. And So foot position, and you always look at doing a setup in the sense of I like to do more of a bottom up approach. So you set your feet first. Once your feet are set, you don't move them. And then you work your way up the chain. Okay. What are my ankles like? What are my knees? Because your ankles, if in a squat, you'll see people squatting. If you think about your ankles, think about them pointing at each other. And there's a piece of fishing wire between them. A lot of times when people squat, when they go down in their squat, their ankles will essentially
Go in.
the point down. Yep.
Oh,
And then
yeah,
they'll
yeah.
lose that tension. And then when that happens, that goes up the chain further, where then their knees might start going in, or they might start
that
rounding
makes
out.
sense. Yeah, that
So you
makes
want to look at
sense.
the whole kinetic chain, and it's ankles, knees, posture, how low you're going, all of those components, and then making everything as symmetrical as possible. So I squatted today actually, and right now I'm trying to kind of rebuild my squat back up because it's not very strong, and I'm doing it with lighter weights, and I'm doing a ton of reps and really just grooving in that motion again, and then coming out. So
Yeah,
squat
see,
is
that
a
makes
good one.
sense. Yeah, and I want to get into free weights because I know it just makes, I feel like you're using a lot more tiny muscles and tiny, just kind of a lot more things when you're doing free weights compared to like machine work. Not to say machine work's bad by any means, but I just feel like you're getting a lot more out of like a squat or a bench press type exercise. But you're the expert, so you tell me.
Yeah, so I mean, the machines have their place, but you definitely want to do a combination of both, especially if you're in a gym, something like that. I use both. The free weights, the benefits have there's more balance, stability,
Yeah.
coordination. You're not in a track. You're having to stabilize and tiny muscles, like you say, stabilize and move the weight. So yeah, learning the squat and setting up and executing, and then as you start adding weight, you want to make sure you're not breaking down and doing a proper warm up for a squat, especially as you get older. I don't think anyone should really go in and just jump into a squat without warming up everything more efficiently. And
Yeah.
that's one. And then as far as the bench press goes, like a barbell bench press, setting up your position appropriately will definitely save your shoulders. So you being a baseball athlete in the past, how healthy are your shoulders right now? Do you know, are they good? Are you
Oh,
ever?
not great. I did work them out a little bit yesterday, and that hurts. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Those rotator cuffs. So like setting up on a bench, when you set up on a bench, you don't want to just lay down and push, which is a lot of times what people think to do. You think about it this way. If I do this motion, so right now, if you're just listening, I'm just acting like I'm pushing something in front of me. When I'm doing that motion or mimicking that bench pressing motion, my shoulder blades are actually moving, right? They're supposed to move when I'm moving my arm like that. When you lay on a bench, that bench is impeding that movement a little bit.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you're losing some of the stabilization of the shoulder. So when you set up for the bench, sorry, when you set up for the bench, you actually want to pin your shoulder blades back and then tuck them and then keep them taut. So then now you don't have to worry about the shoulder blades moving. They're just locked in position. And then you're pushing from that area. So then you save the shoulders. That's a huge one that I didn't know. And beginning of my workout career, I didn't, when I was like 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
I remember being in college and I'd be driving my car and try to like turn the wheel. Oh, my shoulder. I'd open up the door in class.
Yeah.
Oh, my shoulder. And then I finally started researching and figuring out, oh, I should set up this way.
Gotcha.
No shoulder
Yeah.
pain since then.
That's really
I know a few
interesting.
things. I can help you.
I will say, like, for baseball, my shoulders feel fine. I never really hurt my shoulders. The thing I would hurt would be my elbow from throwing, which was, I'm sure that's a really common thing for baseball athletes that you see. So
I have never been ridiculed with elbow issues, but over the past like 2 or 3 years, I think it was because of COVID, getting away from lifting for so long and not lifting as much. My elbows have having on and off injuries. I think I finally figured out what I need to do to get rid of it. But having elbow pain is so annoying.
it's really annoying. It's really annoying. I trust me, I had it not like severe, but I had elbow pain for the entire time that I was a pitcher. So 6 years.
You just constantly, whatever you're doing, you're picking up something, moving,
man.
you feel it, and it's like, oh, it's like, go where? Yeah, the elbow
man.
pain is annoying. But yeah, I'll teach you bench squat, easy peasy.
Sick. This is exciting.
And then deadlifting too. The big three. Those are the big three. Deadlift, bench, squat.
Yeah.
Deadlift would be last.
Okay, you tell me if this is like good or not. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. So I actually I had some workout experience, some like weightlifting experience from high school. I didn't do it for very long, but when I was on the high school baseball team, we did training in the off season. And I don't remember much of it. I don't even remember how much weight I was using. But one thing I do remember is when we were squatting, he had this little like PVC thing to help us know when the bottom of the squat was. But the thing is, it wasn't adjustable and it was just kind of there.
So like PVC thing that you would squat down to and like your butt would hit it?
Your butt would hit it. Yeah.
Okay.
Good, bad, or neutral. Just doesn't matter.
So the depth of a person's squat is going to be very personal in the sense of how tall you are, how long your femurs are, your tibia, your fibula, how your limb length, all of those factors are going to be in the picture. So to have something that's not necessarily adjustable, maybe not the best idea. The best way when it comes to like explaining depth is also going to be dependent on how flexible you are initially, how stable you are. And with my athletes, so younger athletes usually sometimes are more mobile, sometimes they're not, just more flexible because of their age or whatever they got. One of the biggest limiting factors as far as squat depth is, it's based on ankle mobility.
Yeah.
So how mobile your ankles are. So a lot of times I'll have them elevate their heels. So as far as appropriate squat depth, you have, I guess, technically kind of three different positions. You have what's called below parallel, you have at parallel, and then you have above parallel. So the easiest way to explain that is if you were to stand up and put a dot on the outside of the middle of your knee, and then you put another dot at the middle of your hip, and you were go to squatting down. So those dots are about to get closer together. If your dots get even, then you're at parallel. Your squat is at parallel. If one dot is above the other, you're above parallel. If the one dot gets below the other dot, so the hip joint is below the knee joint, then you're below parallel. But you don't want to just go below parallel for the sake of going below parallel, because some people can get that low, but then their back is compromised where they're rounded.
Yeah.
So there's all those little things that it's like, oh, you need to go, A to G, just ash to grass. It's like, not if you're not in the right position, because if your back is rounded, now you're just blasting your lower back.
Yeah.
You're doing it as an ego thing. So yeah, it's kind of a long-winded answer to your question.
No, but this is why it's so hard, I feel like, for people to enter a gym and just like do free weight stuff like that without any sort of guidance. And I feel like if they look up stuff, they're gonna, and I know we've talked about this at least 4 times on the podcast, but it just reiterates, like, information you find online isn't always going to be the best. And so you got to make sure you know who's the person that's telling you this information,
Well, it could be, just like I was kind of explaining there, it could even be like, so the whole dot thing and above parallel, at parallel, below parallel, me explaining that, that's not an incorrect way of explaining it. But then it's like, okay, but then I have to also add in, well, if you are going below parallel, which is an ideal position to go to as far as just overall health, mobility, whatever you want to say, that there's caveats to it. Is if your heels are coming up, that's a problem. If your back is rounding, that's a problem. If you're not, if your upper back is in a tight position, that's a problem. There's all these little nuances that can arise, maybe not necessarily in the beginning of learning how to do it, but later on. And it could be, okay, are you front squatting? Are you goblet squatting? Are you back squatting? Are you low bar squatting? Are you high bar squatting? There's all those little nuances that come in.
Yeah.
How are you setting your hand? Like, there's all of that. And that's where it does benefit to have a trainer that kind of just, you get to skip all of those mistakes, instantaneously. Hopefully, if you have someone that kind of knows what they're talking about. Boom. There you go.
Enough.
That's where I've almost like considered starting a class where it would be like 6-week sessions, rotation, in the sense of you come in for 6 weeks. This is weightlifting school. In 6 weeks, I will teach you as much as I can as far as the nuances of the most important things when it comes to lifting to look out for and to do. And then like after that, you graduate, go on your own. Like
Yeah.
that could be something. Like I've thought
I
about
think
that
that would be
so
sick,
much.
dude.
Weightlifting school. Skip all the nonsense. Here you go.
I
It
think
wouldn't be
that's
cheap.
and you know what you do? You know what you market that to people that don't want to go to the gym and do that because they are like worried about X, Y, and Z, like what people will think, what if they're doing it right. Like, God, that would be so beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, it might be something that I'll eventually do, but it had to be probably more over in the summer, or I don't know. It's something that I've thought about doing. It's just basically weightlifting school. Skip all the nonsense, come in. But it would be very slow paced in the sense of you're literally gonna have to sit here. I'm gonna explain this, and this because of this, and this, and then like just kind of how I'm explaining now. It's not gonna be a high intensity class where you're like actually really getting a crazy workout in. It's like, okay, today we're gonna go over a squat for 20 minutes.
It's like
a
a
lot of
sit
time
down class with a bunch of notes. You know, it's like a regular classroom setting.
It's what and that's it wouldn't be just come in and do a workout. It's like, no, you're dedicating 6 weeks or whatever, however long of this time to learn. That's going to benefit you way quicker, even though it takes longer in the future of learning this stuff. So yeah, but we'll do it. We'll get a workout in. I'll explain things. I can be coach, and then they're going to kick me out for coaching you. I'm just kidding. I'm going to get approached, and then they're going to be like, are you doing personal training in the gym? Like, no, I am, but I'm not being paid for it.
Yeah,
we're like hanging out and I'm helping them. Yeah.
This is my friend. I like him.
We podcast together. I'll pull up the YouTube channel.
Just hand him a business card. Be like, here you go.
I don't have any business cards. Here's a duck. Here's a duck. here's a duck. We podcast together.
I would like that.
Get a duck, give a duck. That. I'll give him like one of the Kylo Pokemon cards. Here's my QR codes for all of the stuff that we do.
That's funny though. I've never even thought about the fact that they might be like, are you training him here? Yeah. Oh man, that's funny.
There's so many packs of people walking around doing stuff. I don't think they say anything, but they might see the Edge. They might see the Edge logos and whatnot. Sometimes I get weird stares over there because I do wear Edge stuff in there a decent amount. And they're like, "Is that? There's that dude." I don't know. Maybe I'm just paranoid, but I get weird stares sometimes when I'm over there.
You're famous.
I wouldn't say that. Maybe they always see my TikToks. I'm just kidding. All right, hour in. We did it. We do what we want. The game's over. We'll announce it on Instagram. Cole and I have filmed 2 podcasts this week, so timeline wise, I'm a little bit wonky on it.
I have nothing to talk to him about anymore. That's it.
We're all talked out. Well, I actually had like 3 other topics to go through, but we're not. That'll be in the next one. Today. Woo! We're supposed to talk about some Marvel stuff, but because Ant-Man comes out tomorrow.
Oh, you know what? Maybe let's go see that.
I want to see it. Ant-Man's one of my favorites.
Dude,
Into the quantum realm.
I have gift cards for movie theater tickets. So.
Nice.
All right, we're doing that. Bye.
Bye.